We're very, very delighted to welcome Michael and Giulia, who are the UK ambassadors of One Small Town, and I will let them tell you what's going on. Thank you, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you very much, everybody. It's great to see you all here. Thank you for coming along. I know there's probably other activities you could be doing. You've taken the time out to come and see us today, so we really appreciate that. Giulia Buttery is our UK ambassador for One Small Town, and she's been working with One Small Town for 5 years. And if you're hearing me say One Small Town, you don't know what I'm talking about, that's fine, because we're going to explain everything about how it works. And my name is Michael Chamberlain. I'm the England ambassador for One Small Town. And really, we are going to split this evening up into a few sort of segments. So, first of all, there will be a bit of a presentation from myself and Giulia. Then, after Giulia, we're going to have a sort of 10-15-minute break for you to stretch your legs, have another drink. And then after that, we're going to do another presentation, and we're going to end with a Q&A. So, if there are any questions arising from what we're explaining today, hopefully we'll be able to get around as many questions as we can. You can keep them relatively short so that we can at least get through as many as we can, if there's quite a few. I'd like to say thank you to Ali for helping to help set this up. We don't live in this particular area. I live up north, so it's very difficult to arrange things like this. But that's someone like Ali, and especially Venetia and Keith as well for inviting us down and wanting to understand more about One Small Town. So can we give them a round of applause, please, for that? Thank you. Thank you very much. So yeah, it's a presentation about One Small Town, but really we want to get into the essence of what One Small Town is, first of all. I'd like a show of hands, if possible, for all of those that have heard of One Small Town, regardless of how much you might know. Have you heard of it? So if you could put your hands up if you have, please. That's a good amount. Okay, and so I'm assuming the rest of you don't know anything about One Small Town, and that's fine too, because hopefully those that do know will pick up some more information from what we present here. Those that don't know, we're going to walk you through it, so you should have a good level of understanding by the end of it. So here's a question. One Small Town is really the brainchild of Michael Tellinger. He's a well-known celebrity. He's done a lot of activities, including archaeological exploration. He's been a musician, he's been in pharmacy, he's fought with banks, he's done a lot of things. And really this was his initial idea in the early 2000s. And something he's been asking since that time to every audience is this question: are you happy with the way the world is going? So again, I'd like a show of hands. If you think the world is fantastic as it is today, I'd like to put your hand up and say, yeah, I'm as happy as I could be. And I think this is the thing. There hasn't been a show of hands. People understand and appreciate that things are not quite as they could be. So really that's where this comes from. In the early 2000s, Michael wanted to understand a lot of things. He wanted to understand the origins of money. He wanted to understand more about societies and what makes them tick and who's in charge and who isn't, and to try and come up with a way that is a better system to the one we have. And so that's what we're going through today. And I guess one of the ways we can do that is to kind of give you an understanding of what a day in the life looks like in a One Small Town. So this is where hopefully you can use that imagination you've got, and I'll walk you through something of a typical day in a One Small Town. You have to project into the future with this. This isn't happening tomorrow. We'd like it to happen tomorrow, but it's not necessarily happening then. So just imagine you wake up in the morning, you get ready, same as usual, you have your breakfast, and you leave the house. You walk out onto the street. Streets are nice and clean. All the hedgerows have been cut in the public areas. There's flowers planted along the grass verges. It looks really nice. The potholes have been filled in the road. In fact, you can see the white lines. In fact, I'll just stop there because that'll do, right? We'll take that. And so you head down into the town. It could be the high street or shopping mall, community centre, wherever you guys normally would meet and shop. And when you get there, you find the One Small Town cafe. And you walk into the cafe. You're a member at the cafe. And as a member, they give you a free coffee. Maybe it's one free coffee a week. Maybe to start with, you just have one free coffee a month. Maybe it's every day. You get a free coffee. Why do you get a free coffee? You get it free because you contribute 3 hours of your time doing something in that town each week across a range of activities, ideally suited to what your skill set is, but if not, then they will just be activities and projects that the town needs to be done. So after the cafe, you then go into the One Small Town store, and in the cafe you saw that there were events happening at the One Small Town Event Centre. Well, you get to go to the events free because you're a member and you contribute your 3 hours in the town each week. So you head into the store. In the store, you're given your basket of goods. And the basket of goods includes a loaf of bread, some fresh farm produce, maybe one or two things that have been made in the town that month that's given to all the members. And you can collect that or arrange to have it delivered to your house. And you get that because you contribute 3 hours each week in the town. Sounds like quite a lot so far, right? So after that, you decide you need to understand what it is you're doing the next day. Now, you really like coffee, so you're working as a barista in the coffee shop for your 3 hours the next day, or maybe for that weekend. Or maybe you like working on the farm and helping the farmers. So you provide your 3 hours contributing to them to help get the work done on the farm. And this kind of contribution means that all of the businesses in the area that are One Small Town businesses are able to adopt us as a labour force. And with that labour force means that we can provide better goods that are cheaper, certainly cheaper for members, and cheaper on the marketplace. And that means members also then will get those benefits. So you leave the store, and while you're there, you notice the One Small Town Health Centre is now available. So you go and see what therapies are there available. Maybe you've got one or two ailments you need to have looked at. And there are certain treatments that you'll get free. So you look at those and you book in for a treatment. And you are able to do that because you contribute 3 hours in that town each week. In fact, you can contribute up to 3 hours a day if you want to. But 3 hours is what we ask. So you leave the store and the therapy area, and you go to head back home. On the way back home, you realise you need to book your car in for service. Why do you get a free service? I think you know where this is going, right? You contribute 3 hours of your time in the town. So you book your car in for service, and you walk off home, and on the way home, you pass One Small Town delivery van. That delivery van is taking fresh farm produce from the One Small Town centre where you've just been onto the next One Small Town centre. So the farmers in this area produce goods for that store, and we have a distribution network between our centres. And whilst you're out, you pass people who are working on the verges, providing their 3 hours, making the streets clean, making our communities beautiful. I'm not saying your community isn't beautiful already, by the way, just so you know. But they're maintaining it, and they're keeping it looking really nice. And then you get home, and you open your front door, and now I'm really projecting into the future, so you need to go with me on this. You open your front door, and there are no bills on the mat. There are no bills on the mat, because for a long period of time now, you contributed 3 hours in that town. And that town has built up a number of businesses, a number of technologies that the town then uses and is given to members. You walk into the house, which by this time, years in advance, has been filled with furniture that you were able to get from the One Small Town furniture store because you provide 3 hours a week in that town. Now that's far in the future. We're not there yet. We don't have a magic bullet for this. We don't have a magic bullet for all the reasons why you can't put your hand up and say you're happy. We don't have that. But what we do have is a way where if we start today, soon, we can start to work in different ways. And that also includes something called the infinity token. And so for every 3 hours that you provide in contribution, you'll receive 1 infinity token. And you can think of this as something like a points card, like your Tesco points card, something along those lines. But that infinity token can be used as currency within your town for certain things. You can use it in the One Small Town store, and you can use it to exchange with other people. If you want to sell a bicycle and I want to buy a bicycle, we can do it in infinity tokens. And again, we're projecting into the future here. And I'm not saying, let's all stop using money, let's all stop going to work, let's all stop doing anything for the system and we're going to fight it today, because we're definitely not doing that. We're working in conjunction with whatever the system is currently. We're just using that system, as Michael Challenger puts it, we're using the tools of enslavement as tools of liberation. We're going to play the game, we're going to pay our taxes, we're going to build businesses, we're going to build our community areas, we're going to contribute our 3 hours, we're going to gain tokens for it, we're going to start using those tokens in the town. So really that's giving you an overview, an imaginary overview of what One Small Town is like. And you know what they say, whatever you're imagining, when you get there, throw away the picture, right? It's going to look very different. And there will be challenges along the way. There will be things that we need to do differently or change or adapt to. But that's what we're doing. We're not talking about the problems anymore. We want to talk about solutions. And One Small Town provides us with a framework that we can use for the things we do now, for all the assets that towns have now, for all of the abilities that people are able to bring to it, to be able to do something that's better than what we currently have. And we can start and we can build it up. So if you imagine 1,000 people, you don't need everybody in the town to be a member. But if you have 1,000 people in the town, it means every day 142 people will be doing something with their 3 hours in that town. Now that's something like 420 something hours per day that we can be working in that town. And with that, or with more members, we can run all the services that we need. We can have our own bakery. We can help to run the farms, help the farmers. We can package the food and distribute it. There's ways that we can use technology to help us do that. And anything else that we think that in our particular town we can create. They used to create cloth here, as I understand it. You know, someone might want to revitalize that. Maybe it becomes a fashion center where you make clothes, and then that's something that the town can use as a major manufacturing area. So we uplift the communities through the activities that we undertake, and we also focus on culture. It's important that we maintain culture. So we will do sports and we will do festivals. We have an event space in our main centre, which we'll come on to later, by the way. And in that main centre, we will plan events not just in the centre, but out around the town as well. So it could be marathons or sports or whatever we decide the town would like to put on. And I'm not saying these things aren't being done already. What I'm saying is it'll be part of the model that we're working to. So we're taking a lot of the good things that people are doing, we're inserting them into the One Small Town framework, and then we're carrying on and we're producing more and other and better things as well for the town. That way we can drive growth and we can create profitability, which is difficult to do in the current climate. But we have a labour force. As anyone will know in any business, a labour force is one of the most costly parts of any business. And that's where we're going to be able to compete with everybody else. So really this is an integration exercise in ensuring that we work together for our community. The same as a lot of all these groups are doing right now, that you guys are a part of, and you're all doing your bit. We can bring that all together into a plan for the town. And this is the essence of contributionism. If you want to understand more about that, Michael wrote a book called Ubuntu, Contributionism, and I recommend you read it. It's a few years old now, but a lot of the principles in there still stand today, and they've stood up to scrutiny, so that's well worth getting. So how do we create this world that we want to live in? Well, Giulia is going to tell us how we create this world that we live in. So I'd like to invite Giulia onto the stage so she can take you through that.
Thank you, Michael. So what I'm going to take you through is one small town in, just break it down into certain parts. So I was very pleased to see that lots of hands went up when Michael asked who here has heard about One Small Town, and we got quite a few show of hands. So that's great. So, I need to work the laptop. So what is One Small Town? As Michael's already alluded to, we are contributing our time to create a free, I like to say talent force, not labour force or workforce, to the businesses that you own and co-create. The members here contribute these 3 hours a week to a range of community-owned businesses. These businesses are selected and planned by the town, and profits are shared to all those who contribute their talents, in addition to goods and services being shared in a basket of goods. We also like to include in all of these, this network or ecosystem of businesses, community upliftment projects. So projects that are not for profit, but help the community in any way, shape or form. That could be beautifying your towns, or free services such as health, or helping the community in any way. So I'd just like to sort of take this quick opportunity to say what we are not. We are not creating intentional communities. So we're not all clubbing together to buy a piece of land to grow food on. We are going to be growing food, but not quite in this way. We are not discarding money. We are using money as a way of creating these businesses and sharing the wealth around to all those who participate. We're also not fighting the system. What we're setting up is something in parallel to the system that rivals it, but we're doing this in a peaceful, calm way. So we're not opposing any government structures, we're just getting on with whatever we want to get on with. We are creating our own system that empowers us to be self-sustainable. We are, as Michael said earlier, using the tools of enslavement as tools of liberation. So, why we are different? Over these 5 years that I've been participating in One Small Town, we've created a unique set of tools. And one of the most powerful that we've created is the One Small Town, or the OST blockchain platform. Now, to begin with, that kind of blew my mind because I knew nothing about blockchain. But what I can see is it is a very secure environment outside of anything that's created by all the corporations. So we did it with internal developers to make sure that we're not, that we keep everything, all the data in it secure and transparent. So as members, everybody can see everything that's on the system. We have a set of unified OST business models, which I'll go through in a minute, that show how any profits generated are shared within the community. And as Michael spoke about a minute ago, we have the One Small Town Infinity token, which I will go into in a little bit more detail. We also have leading edge innovations, and this includes recycling technology, some farming technology, and some healing technology. And as well, we have a different token, which is our crowdfunding token. And the difference with our token is you receive rewards. So you don't just donate money into a project, you receive a profit share as a reward. So, as I mentioned, one of our tools is our secure blockchain. And we developed this because what we felt was we needed to make sure that everything was brought together under one roof. Because as you can imagine, a huge ecosystem of projects means that you need to keep track of them, particularly as we are dealing with the community and obviously the community money. So we need to make sure that everything is distributed in a safe way. So it distributes our rewards, it administers our Infinity tokens, and also is a way of administering our crowdfunding tokens. As I said before, it's fully transparent and is also has other functionality like project management, and it's a home to our online shop and our art gallery. So it's basically the backbone of everything to do with One Small Town. So looking at the community-owned, the co-owned, I should say, business framework, this is our way of circulating the profits to the members. And the profit split is different from any other kind of OST standard business, which I'll go through in a minute. So an OST business, the members who contribute their time are entitled to a profit share of 60% of the net profit. Anyone who funds the businesses is entitled to 30%. Now just think, if the community fund the business, then 90% of the profit share is available. And then we have some overheads. So there's the town office and the country office and OST International. So a small percentage comes out of those profits to make sure that they can operate. And of course, one of the costs is the blockchain platform. And just think about this, one of the biggest overheads to a business is wages. Because we are contributing our time, and this means that that overhead is reduced, so therefore the profits increase. So our second business model is the OST cornerstone businesses. Now these businesses are the large businesses that fund the community businesses. So we are generating funds directly into the town using these businesses. The type of businesses we're talking about are things like manufacturing and industrial-based businesses, or anything else that creates lots of 3-hour shifts that we can contribute our time with. So these funds are funding all the businesses within the community so that we're able to generate more businesses and create a bigger ecosystem. So the profit share with those is the town office receives 50%, and that 50% is generated into those businesses. The funders receive 30%, and if there's any inventors, because we've created particular technology, there's a royalty fee of 10%. If there's no inventors, then obviously that goes back into the pot. And again, there's a small percentage of, not commission, of profit share that goes to the country office and the OST International as well. Again, that's just to make sure that operating costs are covered. So the cornerstone businesses are a vital part of the One Small Town element because they're generating the bigger profits. So let's go back to the Infinity token. This acts as a community reward system. It is the official exchange of the One Small Town initiative. So as we mentioned, every time you do a 3-hour, contribute 3 hours, you receive a token. It also acts as a digital timesheet, so it is proof that you've created your 3 hours. It's earning with a purpose because one Infinity token or one Infinity equals 3 hours contribution to all our OST projects and businesses. So it's not just the businesses that generate money, community businesses where we're sharing whatever we're doing within the community also owns tokens. These are stored on the blockchain in a wallet that is just for you. So it's your wallet, a bit like your bank account in a way. And the more we all contribute our time, the larger the value of the Infinity token grows. So just think, this is a worldwide project. The more we all contribute globally, the larger the larger the token grows. The other thing to notice is this isn't a cryptocurrency. It is stable and real, and because we are backing it by the work we contribute, it means it is actually backed by something, not fresh air. We all know that money is backed by fresh air, and so are a lot of crypto as well. You can also buy Infinity tokens, and at the moment they're currently at $5.12. And this is rising gradually because more hours are being contributed. So I mentioned we also had some leading edge technology, and this is held in an innovation centre in South Africa, but it's available to all of us. The community owns this technology. And our first, and we're very proud of this, is it acts as a cornerstone, is our recycling technology. It's already tried and tested, and took 2 years of research. And the way it came about is that one of the projects in South Africa, there were some retired engineers that basically said, we can build this technology, and they used, some of the engineers are amazing. They are sort of ex-NASA, BA Systems, and so this is what she looks like. Whoops. She is smaller and more powerful than any other recycling technology that is out there in the marketplace. And as I say, we're not selling our technology. Our technology remains in the community. Now, what she has the ability to do is recycle all the plastics and all the rubber and change them into fuel amongst one of the products that comes out. So just think about that. We are able to create our own fuel that we would be able to use within our towns and projects. She also creates, her name is Betty, by the way, she also creates a product called Carbon Black, which is used in many of the products like paint and printer ink and all of those kind of things. And what we didn't realise was we just thought, oh, it's another product. But the marketplace for that is huge. So you can imagine that all of these products that we're able to generate are going to be able to create significant funding for all our community projects and businesses. So the way we raise money for our technology is, slightly having a problem with the laptop, there we go, is we have already generated, and for those of you who are already familiar with the One Small Town platform, I know we have some people here that are members, a specific technology token. And what that means is you can donate to this token to increase all the technology that we're building, and the profits from the technology is paid back into the token. So once again, any of these tokens, anything that's donated, there is a profit share at the end of them. And here are some of the technologies that we are creating in our innovation centre. So I've mentioned the recycling. We also have various energy solutions. We have some agricultural solutions as well. There is seed technology, which means that the seeds that I have to be careful how I say this, the seeds are generated in a very natural way, and what happens is they grow, let's say there's one head of corn on a normal seed, and it will grow multiple heads on just one seed. So this is going to be a very exciting project, and the aim for that is we create seed banks here in the UK that are able to distribute these seeds. We also have water management, creating clean water and desalination of water, and also there's some health and wellness technologies too. So I've already alluded to this. The tokenizing of the crowdfunding means we are empowering communities to be able to build and expand the One Small Town. The way we tokenize a project is that we ask for a business plan so that we can work out what the potential donations will be, as well as the profits as well. So 30% of the net profits are shared out of the back of the business from this token. And every contribution is securely logged and fully tracked on the blockchain system. So there's complete transparency. And all the token information can be downloaded from the platform. So how do we work with existing projects and businesses? So these can be added to the platform so that anybody can, who contributes time can earn tokens. We also have knowledge sharing projects as a learn as you earn. So as well as teaching knowledge sharing, those who attend can also earn tokens too. We have one example which is currently being piloted in South Africa, and that's the Farm Connect project. And how that came about was that the owner of the Farm Connect project had a number of volunteers that were all distributing the farm produce, the vegetables and the fruit, to various drop-off points within all the towns. But what he found was he couldn't expand that business, so we're now busy drawing them onto the One Small platform. They earn tokens, but also it's actually building the whole network to be able to distribute these produce in a much better way. It also means the drop-off points also earn a commission. So the requirements for existing projects is that we work with you to prepare business plans that align to the One Small Town models. Also, I had a conversation with someone the other day that says, how can I make my business into a One Small Town business? And her business was that she packages and distributes coffee and actually has a couple of coffee shops. Well, the answer to that is you don't just turn your business into a One Small Town, you look at ways of diversifying. So what she's looking into now is not flipping her business into a One Small Town business, but looking how she can white label her coffee product and sell it with a One Small Town label on so it can be distributed. So you can see there's multiple ways of turning existing projects and businesses and benefiting from One Small Town, whether it's our infrastructure or our token or our business model. So what's already in action? Well, I mentioned the Farm Connect, the food distribution network in South Africa, and we'll be reporting a little bit more on that in a few weeks' time. The plastic and rubber recycling is really going so well that there's contracts being set up, and we're looking at how we would bring the same project to the UK. There's also a clothes recycling project that's happening in South Africa too. And we had quite an amazing conversation with someone that travelled from the Netherlands to our Buxton event, who also wants to do something similar with the UK. And it's about starting up pre-loved clothing and also designing clothes as well, bringing on those young student designers to make sure that we are not only recycling clothes, but creating new ones. We also have an art gallery on the One Small Town platform. Now, this is waiting for the right person to help curate the art, but also we need some contributors to upload some of the art too. Now, why we're excited about the art gallery is because the artist really benefits from it. I think there's a slide later on that shows the art gallery in more detail. And then we have the OST's trading store, which is a bit of a game changer, because as we move along, we'll be able to use our token to be able to trade all the items that can come into a store. So not only could there be excess produce that we've grown in community gardens, but all the sort of extra stuff that you may have in your house could be traded in the store. And then we also have an online store, so it could be that any kind of marketplace could be utilised by the online store too. So what we're looking to do is building a team of skilled individuals to create all these projects in the UK. I'm just going to touch on this briefly, but we're in the throes of setting up the legal entity for One Small Town in the UK. And we've got some amazing help to do that from one of your community members too. Now, the reason I often get asked is, why do we need a legal entity? Isn't that going back into the matrix? And the answer is we need to tick some boxes because we need to do certain things like create bank accounts so that we can distribute profits, but also make sure that we're not infiltrated or shut down in any way, shape or form. So we are looking at creating either a community interest company, and alongside it may be a PMA, it may be one or the other or both. And we're also looking into ways, we're taking some advice on this, and this won't be straight off, is protecting them all via private trusts too. So we're really looking at creating local talents to help us co-create all these projects. What we know is in every town and community, there are people producing a whole range of products, services, healing, human expertise, and all the resources that can bring OST projects together. Providing the community through providing a whole community through a whole variety of One Small Town projects and services. And how do we begin our OST journey? Well, it all starts with an OST hub, and I'm going to hand over to Michael Chamberlain, who's going to talk you through that.